There weren't a lot of news stories this weekend regarding politics, but there were a few blunders. And one of the first ones was Sean Hannity getting caught vaping on air. Great video if you haven't seen it already, but he basically looks like a teenage boy getting caught with a dirty magazine for the first time. The way he looked up, it was like he was a deer in the headlights. But the one blunder that stole the show was President Biden tripping up the steps to board an airplane. And yes, he tripped for a total of 3 times. Just not a good look overall. But some people are saying you shouldn't laugh at him. Others are saying you should crack up at this guy. Here's my take. First and foremost, if you need some comic relief, you definitely have to check out this video as well as the Sean Hannity video. Great times. But the other thing I would say is Biden kind of gets what he deserves, because he would go after Trump back when they were campaigning, saying he goes down the ramps too slow, and look at me, I run up and down ramps. He always would kind of poke fun at other people in regards to kind of like physical strength. So again, him being an older fella, hey, slow it down a little bit, bro. But hopefully you don't go after anyone anymore for going up and down ramps too slow, because, well, you just fell. But the big takeaway, really the one news story that should have a lot of publicity that didn't get a whole lot, was the meeting between the US and China. So if you haven't heard already, it was, I believe, the same day that Biden tripped. So of course, this is the one that overshadows everything. The US and China representatives, ambassadors, they met in Alaska, and the US and China, they normally have talks with each other. It might be twice a year, once a year, doesn't really matter, but it happens pretty frequently. And they basically discuss trade situations, maybe international affairs, and the two of them were kind of going at each other, accusing each other of doing some bad stuff. But the big takeaway was China essentially telling the US, hey, you're no longer operating from a position of strength. Have you ever seen that Captain Phillips meme, the look at me, I'm the captain now? That's basically what China was saying to the US. So I was asking on some of the other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, I said, let me know, why do you feel like China has all this newfound confidence? Is it because of the new administration? Is it because they have a better economy than us? So I'm going to ask, well, everyone on YouTube now, if you have an idea as to why China was acting the way they were, I want you to comment down below. But all of that aside, as I was mentioning before, there really weren't a lot of newsworthy events in politics, really just the whole situation between the US and China. So what I wanted to cover today was this whole notion, this whole banter going on that you can't get ahead in life and you need to vote for certain politicians because they're the only ones that can help you. This has kind of been the ongoing theme for many years, but definitely since the Biden administration was sworn in, it's really ramped up. So what you're looking at in this particular chart is, yes, you have a bunch of squiggly lines, but within those squiggly lines, you can see you have 3 lines that are closer to the top of the chart and 1 line that is pretty much at the very bottom. So if I kind of read you through, I'll give you, if you're not able to read it, maybe your screen's too small. The red line represents the wealth held by the top 1%, like, in proportion to everyone else. Then you have the yellow line, which is the next 9%, and you can see they're a little bit above. And then you have the gray line, which is the next 40%. So all you really need to know, within this particular chart, you have a top 50%, and they're well above the blue line, which is the bottom 50%. So politicians will say every day, at least on the Democratic side, you got to vote for me. I'm the only one that can create an economy that works for everyone, not just the top 1%, or in this case, the top 50%. But what politicians get wrong is this idea that they can fix the economy, because all politicians can do is screw up the economy more. The best thing they can do, and I know this is tough for them to swallow, but the best thing they can do is stay the hell out of the way. Politicians don't know how to create jobs. Entrepreneurs do. Investors do. So what I really want to get at is you have to remove this idea that you need to elect a certain politician in order to get ahead in life, or you need to have a certain economy that works for you, because the biggest thing blocking you from moving from that blue line, that bottom 50%, into that top 50% is you. It's your mindset. Listen, we live at the greatest time to become wealthy, the greatest time to advance yourself and move up in economic class. And you might say, well, how is that the case? Well, here's what I would say. School's kind of backwards in the sense that they train you to be a great employee, but they never really train you to be an employer. And that's the biggest difference separating you from someone who might be wealthier. you're not going to make all the money in the world if you're working for someone else. Chances are you have to work for yourself. So that's where I think school kind of has a backwards mindset. If they taught you how to be a great employer, maybe things would be a little bit different. But moving on, a lot of people think they can just work one job and that will get them everything that they need and or want in life. And that's just not the case anymore. But the worst thing you can do is work your job, right? Maybe you only have one job, maybe you work 2 jobs. But if you're not leaving that job and trying to work on your own self, work on your own hobbies, your own interest after hours, you're never going to advance yourself. You're never going to put yourself in a better position. But the other reason why it's very possible to scale up in the world is because there's so much access to information nowadays. There's so much more access to things you can do while you are working. So for example, with online being like a huge service nowadays, you can have your online shops, you can be a content creator, kind of like what I'm doing, whether it's YouTube, using another platform, you can be an Amazon affiliate, whatever it is. But all I'm trying to get at is you can do so much more than your one job or your second job. And if you're constantly not working on trying to improve yourself, trying to put yourself in a better situation, I can't really sit there and say I feel sorry for you, because everyone has the same amount of hours in the day. Everyone has, if they have a smartphone, if they have a computer, a laptop, whatever it is, you have the same access to information as others. So the worst thing you can do is 1, work that one job, but 2, buy into this politician saying you need to vote for them and that way they can fix your life. Because chances are, as I already mentioned, all politicians are good at is screwing things up even more in regards to the economy. So if you're constantly relying on them, that help probably is never going to come. But you constantly believing what they say, you're always going to spin your wheels and you're going to say, well, I never really have to change my style. I just have to sit around and hope for this politician can change my life, can change the economy, can put more money in my pocket. And that's kind of my mindset, is once you remove yourself from relying on politicians and you sit there and you realize there's so much opportunity in the world. I just have to change my mindset, my work ethic, and I can truly make this economy work for me. Once you do that, you're going to be good to go, much more happy and much more wealthy as well. So that's all I really wanted to get at, because again, like I said, not a real newsworthy weekend in regards to politics, just those few blunders, and again, the whole China and US situation. So let me know your thoughts on this video. Do you feel we have an economy today that works for everyone? Or do you agree with politicians? Do you think it's too lopsided and it really benefits those at the top and it keeps suppressing those at the bottom? I want you to let me know in the comment section. But as always, I appreciate you checking out the video, and I hope to see you again sometime soon.